Summer might be winding down, but that doesn't mean vacations stop for some consumers. If it's one thing you can find year-round, it's a timeshare. Even if you don't have one, you've heard of them. They're vacation property arrangements that allow you to share the cost of a property with others, and multiple unrelated parties can own a portion of that property. I'm Fox 13's Robin O'Guinier, and in this edition of Consumer Rules with Robin, I partner with Utah's Department of Consumer Protection to tell you how to understand timeshare scams, how to recognize red flags, and how to exit a timeshare the right way.
So you decided you want a timeshare. Now what? There's that initial cost you have to pay. Normally it's purchased during a sales meeting, or some consumers find them through resale on a secondary market. To make sure your timeshare is on the up and up, know that both the developers and the salespersons of a timeshare have to meet a number of registration requirements. If it's in Utah, a quick search of realestate.utah.gov will tell you what you need to know. But what if it's an out-of-state property?
If they are a Utahn who is being solicited for an out-of-state property or potentially out-of-country property, they should check with that state or country to see if any regulations apply to timeshares in those areas, and check with the authorities in those states that may be the equivalent of the Division of Real Estate.
Director of the Division of Real Estate for the Department of Commerce, Lee Viette, says if anyone at a sales presentation is trying to get you to sign on the spot or make a decision without doing more due diligence, that should be a point of suspicion.
If a company is wanting upfront fees, if you're going in to purchase the timeshare, or if you're looking for someone to help you exit a timeshare, that is a red flag, because folks who are asking you to pay up front before they prove themselves or render the services they've agreed to render, that leaves you open to potentially being financially harmed, because that person could just leave with that money without rendering any service.
Let's say you have a timeshare and you no longer want it. Viette says oftentimes folks who have a timeshare interest may be looking to exit that interest or otherwise sell it. Scammers know this, so they make unsolicited contact to a timeshare owner and in many cases guarantee to help them offload that interest.
The first step for someone who owns a timeshare, who's interested in potentially selling that timeshare or exiting that interest, is to reach out to the actual company that they purchased the timeshare from, the actual entity, the resort, what have you. That is a great first step, because then you can find out if they have any programs in-house that might be able to assist you. And then you can also potentially get a copy of your contract and see what it says, your purchase contract, about how you can exit that interest.
But if you decide to keep your timeshare, it's key to know what happens to it once you're no longer around.
To make sure that at the time of purchase, they understand what is going to happen to that interest and that timeshare upon their death. Is it going to pass to family members? Is that going to potentially become a financial liability or burden on those family members?
If you have lingering questions about your timeshare, Viette says it's always a good idea to reach out to an attorney for personalized advice if you can. A financial decision of this magnitude sometimes warrants legal advice. If you believe you've been scammed, make sure to report it to the Federal Trade Commission and file a complaint with the Division of Real Estate. We have links to those sites with this story on fox13now.com.